What is up, gamers? Welcome back to our round of 16 of the Season 3 playoffs. Getting into the second half of our matches today. This is the fifth best of 3 out of 8 of the day. Our closest match potentially so far, in terms of seeding at least. The 8 seed versus the 9 seed, Nerdy.
Yes, it's going to be good.
Are you excited for this best of 3? Do you think we'll see a game 3 again? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Personally, I think that this game does have potential to go to game 3, and here's my reasoning, okay? Here's my reasoning.
Yeah.
So, normally we say that the higher seeded player has the advantage, but there are two things that are going on in this game, okay? Firstly, last season, if you guys remember, we have Automat, who basically was, he went like 19-0 or something. So, I mean, come on, I mean, it's Automat at the end of the day, So he just doesn't lose. Like, why lose? You just win. So that's reason one. But reason two, and I think this is my stronger argument here for why this could easily not be in favor of Dandannyboy. Okay, is that Danny in our little individual channels for each match asked what kinds of seeds there were, and when he was picking, so. For that reason, since he doesn't even know which seeds he can pick from, I'm going to say that, there's a chance that it could go either way. All right. It really, really could go either way. And I think that, yeah, it's going to be a little funny.
Well, let's be some statistical individuals. Let's look at the player profiles, Nerdy. We don't have an interview for this match. Let's see how these players stack up against each other. Not bad so far from Danny. What stands out to you here, Nerdy, on this player card?
I mean, first of all, win-loss versus opponent 1-0, so they're they have not played that much, okay? Danny does play a decent amount. 550 matches is quite a lot, and he has a very good best rank time of 7:31. Wow, that is very good. I mean, all his stats here are pretty good. I will say the win rate is maybe a little lower. I mean, which makes sense, right? Because he's towards the bottom of the top 8. But, at the end of the day, it is still a little bit, maybe less consistent, right? That being said, I do think that he has, good mental. I think that he is, overall a very, very strong, well-rounded player. And, I think he's gotten third place, season 1. Yeah, there it is right there. So, definitely a contender always. Anyone that's gotten third place before can do it again and can do even better, right? So, certainly a good player to keep an eye on. I don't know if you have anything else to add there.
No, I mean, I think Dannyboy has the potential to be the best player in this bracket. Definitely not the best ranked average time, but it's up there. Win percentage, again, not amazing, but if you're always, in the grinder playing against, other top 5, top 10, top 15 people, it's hard to hold an amazing win rate.
Right.
And Danny's got this resume from the tournaments and the accomplishments. It's very possible.
Right.
That he could go the distance. But let's look at Automat's card. I'm honestly surprised that these players have even played once in the ranked season, but I'm even more surprised that it looks like Automat's played 120 ranked games. This is maybe more than he's played in every other season combined before this.
And look at that. I mean, holding a 65% win rate. Like, that's legit, man. That's legit. I mean, that's very impressive to me. Though, one thing that is important to note is that, like, the more games you have, being able to sustain a win rate becomes harder and harder, because then you start going against harder and harder people, right? So that's definitely something to keep in mind. But overall, I mean, 65% is really strong still. Having an RSG PB of 10:08 is not bad. It's not bad. And a best rank time of 8:49, so definitely has that potential to do really well. Pretty similar ranked average time as well of 12:43. So we played each other once. We'll have to see. I think this game could go either way, but we'll have to wait and find out.
Yeah. I think we can look at the seed pick bans now, see what these runners are thinking with their seed decisions. I mean, the ban's very important. Picks, I guess, not as much. But let's see. A village ban expected 4 times today out of 5 so far. BT ban from Automat, I think, again, also expected. Plays very little, any percent resetting on RSG stuff.
Right.
Totally. So very not super confident about that. And Danny instantly going with the Shipwreck, the other sort of ocean seed, Maybe Danny thinks he's more confident, like finding the ravine, knowing exactly how to do the decision making with maybe weird blocks, weird food, stuff like that. So I think it's the right pick. I think it's the right play. I think both players, I mean, basically, if you ban what you're uncomfortable with and then you pick what you're comfortable with, that's the best you can do. At the end of the day, the nether's going to be whatever it is. The end game is going to be whatever it is. You just got to play better Minecraft. So it's going to come down to who plays better Minecraft in this best of 3. And it looks like we're going to be ready in just a couple seconds to throw it over to the start of the second half of our best of 3s today. I'm very excited.
Me too. And here we are. We're off. Runners are off. And
then they know it's a shipwreck seed. So it's like, can you find the shipwreck? And then how far away is the shipwreck? Are you going to front load wood? Are you going to swim there and go back? Looks like neither runner sees the shipwreck yet.
Yep.
Is this potentially sus? I don't know.
It looks like Automat just committing.
Swimming out to it. Yeah, okay. So he does see it.
Yeah. If there's sand, is there going to be sand in the door though? No, it looks like
looks like he's fine. Yeah, it looks like he's fine. A lot of food too. 22 carrots.
Wow.
Which by themselves are very peepo sad, but when combined with gold, becomes pretty peepo awesome. If you're an emotes guy, you kind of would get that, you know.
Yeah. Basically, I'll translate Fine Break here for you guys. He's saying one is good and one is okay.
And Danny just has to find this shipwreck. It is a little weirdly buried in a ravine, but I think he's on the wrong side of the island. And Automat has found it. Looks like Danny has found it now as well too. Definitely a weirder shipwreck. Blends sort of into this cave. Summons a little lower. Spawns, generates, whatever. I'm still tired. It is what it is. But
okay,
incredible
we all forgive. We all understand. You know. Yeah, for sure.
And honestly, the big difference here in these overworld plays from both runners is Automat has sheared leaves 4 blocks. Danny has not. So Danny's left the ship earlier, is going to be exploring for this magma ravine earlier, but the pace is not amazing. And wow, look, Automat finds a different ravine than Danny, I think. So not looking good. Oh, but Automats might be fake. This is not good lava.
That's a disaster. That's a disaster.
Do you commit to, digging on the side? Do you, is this lava over here? It's redstone white.
No.
And Automat very, very far away now. Dandannyboy found a correct ravine. I'm not sure if it's the filter intended correct one or not. But this is unfortunately what happens a lot of the time in these ocean seeds. I mean, in a similar way as to how you can miss a lava pool that is buried on village seeds or desert temple seeds, you can for sure miss the ravine on these seeds. And Automat looks like he's heading to the right ravine now, but this is 20-30 seconds of time loss here that he's going to have to claw back somehow, which is very, very doable though. We've seen, people die for 8 minutes worth of mistakes in just our last best of 3. So still anybody's game nerdy. It's not over until the dragon is dead. So
it's not. Amen to that. Very good point, Feinberg. And you could forfeit too. That, to be fair, that would be over as well. But anyways, as you can see, we have, it's just it
Automat
just really comes down to finding that enter. That's all it was.
Yeah, and he's just traversing the same terrain Danny was, a bit slower, but also has these leaves. Look, Danny's farming up 20 soul soil to bridge over this soul sand better, and Automat's got a stack of blocks that he's able to bridge through. Gonna take this higher terrain, and might honestly be in this bastion first. Very, very close though. Definitely made up a little bit of time here. Yeah, look, especially he's gonna get to this triple first if Danny has to check this later. Look at the obby as well. 6 obby. But this is another thing too. maybe not super applicable in this situation, but knowing that you can see the other player's advancements, Dandannyboy can use this information, be like, okay, I saw that Automat got Obby out of his first chest. Then you must know that there's an accessible chest that has obsidian. So if you miss it potentially out of the triple, you might know, or out of the single, you might know it has to be in the
if you
triple.
picked up on that, in my opinion. But hey, it's possible. You never know.
Yeah. And there he goes, breaking the middle chest. But Dandannyboy, I mean, starting a much better route than Automat did here. A lot faster, but Automat has checked 4 chests in the top of the Stables Bastion. One of which was in the outside stables that gave him 3 extra gold blocks. So he's going to be able to fully take use of all of these golden carrots. Dandannyboy only able to make 9. Now I say only 9 golden carrots. That is definitely more than enough for the rest of the run if these runners play well. But Automat's going to be able to make all 18. I mean, he's even eating raw carrots now just because he doesn't want to craft the golden carrots yet, I guess.
Right.
Very interesting. Again, really won't need more than a few. Golden carrots being the best food source in the game, barring suspicious stew with a dandelion or enchanted golden apple. They are the best, most accessible food source in speedrunning history. What? Maybe technically, like, back when food just healed you and there was no hunger bar, you could argue that food back then was better.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that on Pocket Edition. That's how it worked for a while, I think. And that's where I first started playing Minecraft, was on Pocket Edition. Fun fact. And
every professional gamer starts somewhere, nerdy.
Listen, I remember for a long time I was advocating that Pocket Edition was better than PC or Java. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why.
He's the Bedrock enjoyer.
No. This is before it was Bedrock. But man, I don't know what I was thinking. The second I switched, I was like, I was just wrong. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Well, Pocket Edition had the Nether core reactor, and that
was I liked that. I liked that. But anyways, yeah.
That's just like a funny solution that they had to the problem of like phones suck. Yeah. We can't make another dimension. They just like made a mini dimension spawner. It's such a silly idea to think about it. It seems like such a modded thing nowadays. They just like never do.
But it was fun, you know. It was cool. But at the end of the day, Java Edition is the best version of Minecraft, and that's a fact. All right.
And we are in the fort for both runners. A very interesting thing to note, though, nerdy. Automat completely skipped golden carrots. He is just chugging regular carrots, and he definitely knows that golden carrots are a better food source. So if this is a decision just like wanting to get as many trades as possible and didn't want to use any of the spare gold, it looks like he has a couple gold ingots in his inventory. I'm not sure how many. It's 1. Wow. So he can make 1 golden carrot, which he should still make 1 golden carrot. But compared to Danny, who crafted what, 9, and he's at 7, and he's at full health, and Boy has to deal with, or Automat, sorry, has to deal with this magma cube. Obviously a bit unlucky, but like now look, he's on 5 hearts. This healing, Wither Skeleton, oh my God. He might. Does he have to eat this? I think he's gonna be on half a heart. Oh my God! Imagine it's poison though, and he dies. Oh, wow. I would not have eaten that. I would not have eaten that.
Yeah, that was a bit of a risky play there, but hey, it worked out for him.
The 1 in 6 that you're just instantly dead because the wither and the poison would stack their effects.
Yep. Totally.
There's no poison in ranked. I knew that, and this was a test for chat, and 6 of you passed.
Yeah, good job, chat. Good job. Congratulations. You know. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm retired. You know, I'm not expected to know these things. I knew about it. Exactly. It's still mentally scary, okay? I have no excuses. I got nothing.
No, it was a test for chat. We already agreed on that. That is not an excuse, just what happened.
We'll let them believe that. Stowy Plains blind. Love to see it.
Look at
It
the
was
automat
Automat.
faces in the
Yep, and
background.
they're animated in the background too. Like he's got
Yeah,
them sort of auto scrolling and stuff as well.
that's just beauty, right? Art.
Boat eye coming out from both runners. Definitely seeing. I think only one player so far has not done boat eye. I'm trying to think. It might have been Papler. I don't want to. I don't honestly remember. No, I think Papler did do boat eye. I think only one person hasn't done boat eye, or maybe everybody has. Was it beef salad? Really? But I mean, my point is compared to season 2 and season 1. Like I feel like in season 1 there were more people that weren't doing it than
Yeah,
were. Like the majority of people were not doing boat eye, and even in season 2 there were like multiple participants that would not do boat eye, and now I think it's just everybody is doing it now. Just the adoption of strats, things becoming
everything's
more
better.
modernized. Yeah.
Yep. I will say, I'm about to say this, and it's ironic coming from this specific game, but I've also seen a lot more like search crafting being used. In the last game, there was like the East Franconian being used by Beef Salad.
Yeah.
And
This is
that's
a
really
double
cool.
English, yeah, double
Yeah,
English game right
this
now.
game is
But
like an example of that. That's why I said like this
I do
specific
think
game
we've
isn't a good one, but yeah.
seen. I think we've seen like maybe 8 or 9 different game languages used. Like
Yep.
Blues Killer was on Pirate Speak. There's been
Yep.
French Canadian,
Yep.
Danish, Turkish, Dutch potentially, Frangian potentially as well. I mean,
Yep.
a lot of
Yeah, Beef
innovation from a
Salad is
lot of
using that
runners
one,
here.
yeah.
Yeah.
So very cool to see. I love it. I love the strats, and I like seeing everything just feels more polished this time around.
Yeah, I mean, but again, I mean, as we've been yapping, looking at the pace, these runners are within, I mean, 5 to 10, 15 seconds of each other.
Look at
Again,
that.
there is a food difference here. Dandannyboy does have better food, could potentially go for like a pro clip 0 that could work better, but he's found the spike. Automat making the same nab mistake. I think heard lava pop, so he's going to dig into the portal room here. Potentially he will. Very close game. And is Dandannyboy not going for 0? He is. Prepless 0. Front small boy, very, very doable. Decent enough pearl. Now the question is it going to fly 91? Can you push 95 with those pearls? Looking up at the dragon to see if he could push it more. He can't.
Let's see here.
Needs it to hold for one more rotation, and he will potentially win this seed. Looks like it's holding. And unless this damage is very bad and Automat catches up on the beds, it looks like there's not really any stream delay either. So this is live. Dandannyboy, one more bed is going to win by, I mean, literally a bed, 2 beds. Wow. Automat almost made it 1 bed exactly. Legitimately, maybe 5 to 10 seconds. And Automat saying GG in chat, but I don't know if he thinks he won or he lost. I don't know.
Well, he knows that the game is about to end.
That's true. And I mean, it literally 1, 2, 3 is going to open for 4 seconds. A 4-second difference on that seed. And if Automat,
yeah, that's crazy.
Two extra beds, but like I think it was the same amount of beds, maybe even 1 less, considering it was a 4 seconds instead of 8 seconds difference.
Wow, crazy stuff overall.
Yeah, Automat clawed back a lot of time on the Bastion enter. Apparently he went to Y95 instead of 91, trying to push the time save, and it almost worked out. They'd save 4 seconds over Danny, I think, using the same amount of explosives, because that would save you 1 full rotation. But looking at the splits, I mean, they're just throwing the time save back and forth with each other. Automat's slower enter, but had the leaves basically deleted all of his time loss getting to the Bastion. And that's the seed. 8 seconds, or 4-second difference, excuse me. Basically, closest that we've seen so far. Maybe closest that we'll see all day. Maybe closest that we'll see all tournament. Yeah,
that's possible too. That is possible. Just really, really good play from both players to keep up with each other like that. Love to see it.
Yep. And I think we will throw it over to Fulham for the analysis segment. See what he has to say. See if he can find 4 seconds of mistakes from either runner that would have given Automat the seed in his favor.
Okay, the audio problems were my fault that time. There were a few mistakes by both runners in this seed, in my opinion. I think there was a couple of times where we went back and forth. However, in this particular seed, it did go in Danny's favor. It was literally seconds, though. We're going to go right back to the start, where we saw Matt find the... Hopefully I'm off mute by now, right? Okay, fantastic. At the very start of the scene, we saw Automat find the shipwreck first, a little bit faster than Danny did, but Danny decided to, rather than do nothing with that time that he was looking around, Matt decided to go straight for the shipwreck. Instead, Danny decided to not only grab a few pieces of wood, which we've seen players like Silver do in the past, where they grab 2 wood to get a crafting bench, pressure plate, and sticks. In this situation, Danny decided to wood axe and front load wood on the island before heading to the shipwreck. You can also see that Matt heads back towards... Damn, I paused at the worst time. You can see that Matt heads back towards the island over here, and as was noted by the commentators during the run, there was a few... there was shears made by Automat with the 13 iron, enabling him to get a stack of leaves, which allowed him to catch up even with this situation whereby he went to a magma ravine, none of which had lava, which was not ideal, allowing Danny to enter the nether first and have slightly better terrain nav. However, Matt, as I said, does have all of the leaves in his hotbar down here, as well as having a whole stack in his inventory too, which does provide a lot of help during the nether navigations. And we see this chest right here in the bastion for Automat with 3 gold blocks and 3 uncooked pork chops. Really, really lucky chest to find in the bad part of stables. And it was particularly helpful due to the 22 carrots in Matt's inventory down here. However, surprisingly, Matt didn't decide to use the gold on the carrots. Instead, decided to focus heavily on trades, maybe to get more string for explosives and zero cycle. But I think that was a slight misplay, at least in my opinion, because we can see that Danny, in fact, does have the exact same number of carrots total, as we can see just here. Roll it back a frame. There we go. We can see he has the 9 golden carrots as well as 13 regular carrots, equating up to 22 carrots. You know, the exact same, except we've turned 9 of them into golden carrots, providing him a lot better saturation and allowing him to progress through this seed slightly faster, pearl more aggressively. And we saw that by the time when Automat was entering the stronghold, taking an excessive amount of damage in places. And because the carrot saturation isn't that strong, he's having to spend, even if it is 1-2 seconds, just standing still, waiting around and eating a less optimal food source. It does prevent him by standing nearby a spawner or potentially using dynamic render distance to try and get more strays. So does lose a little bit of time. Danny does enter the stronghold as well as enter the end first, and it is literally just a few seconds between these two runners. We can see absolutely pretty much as close as it can be, and Matt types GG in chat, not realizing that he does in fact end up losing the seed when Danny does kill the Ender Dragon just a few seconds before. Literally just 2 or 3, maybe 4 seconds between these two runners. Really, really, really close match. But if you are Automat, you have to feel confident at least in the fact that you were able to keep up with Danny the entire time. Maybe Matt can try and puzzle out an extra 4 seconds as to where he can catch up. And I do truly think that with a little bit of better food situation, like a little bit of navigation, able to allow yourself more time without eating the food. So obviously by... remember, Matt actually had 23... oh, sorry, wrong color. Had 23 carrots at the start of the run, and he's only left with 1 left in his offhand, so had to, in fact, eat 22 of these carrots. Now, eating a piece of food only takes around about a second, but thinking about how often that adds up versus the fact that Danny only had to eat 5 golden carrots throughout the rest of the run, it really could be the absolute difference. So, I'm going to send you guys back over to Feinberg and Nerdy, these guys down here, in case you didn't know who they are. They are these guys. I'm going to send you back to these two. We're going to see what happens in the next seed. Can Matt bring it back into a 2-1, or will Danny take the next seed? Let's see what happens. All right.
Olem, thank you again for the analysis segment. Doing some mute or alert farming. Some pretty good emote farming there. I mean, some S tier work.
Oh yeah, totally.
From that, and I mean, I really don't think we can expect any closer of a match between these two players. Like, there's just time save going back and forth, and just the small things here and there that, you know, lose Automat some time, lose Danny some time, and it just goes back and forth. And a 4-second difference. I don't really know what the closest playoff seed that we've had like that has ever been. 4 seconds is definitely up there for sure. Like, closest finishing. I just play so many seeds, so many brackets. I don't remember, but that is just a very, very close. And so I think we could throw it over to the seed selection just to see what we're working with. Again, like we always say, doesn't really matter what we pick now because Automat's got to win both. But we get the Desert Temple before the Ruin Portal. I always let myself a good Desert Temple. I'm very shocked that this is a like common pick, you know? I feel like it should just be banned. Like, you're playing at low food seeds a lot. Like, I guess you have blocks always. That's about it. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just shocking to me. A different pick ban meta, it has been evolving throughout the seasons. I'm really not sure what the fascination for temples has been, but I'm not going to complain. I'm ready for us to get into the seeds. Yeah, I think the players are ready in just a second, and hopefully Automat can keep that gameplay up, you know, polish out just a couple mistakes. And hopefully send us to a seed 3. That's my guess. That's my hope. That's
Absolutely.
the dream.
We love to see best of 3s here. And, you know, we know it likely is going to happen. I mean, I think for Automat, the important thing to note about that last seed is, like, you know, he can reflect and see where he could have done better, but like at the end of the day, it's so close. You know what I mean? Like, he played very well, and it really came down to just micro stuff that, you know, could totally go shift in his favor this seed, right? So I don't think getting tilted over the last match would be worth it at all. There's just no. I mean, obviously it's almost never worth it, but I think especially here, like Automat, I think should be able to. I believe in Automat's ability to get over the last loss, even though it was so close, but he played so well that just remind yourself, just keep playing like that, and hopefully the results will come, right?
Yeah, 100%. And our both runners already have seen the lava pool, see the river that they're most likely going to get flint from, see the trees, just about the food situation now. But if there's a notch or two in this temple, it might not matter.
Absolutely.
See what the loot is looking like.
Not seeing a notch. There's a golden apple, but no notch.
Flint at the bottom of the temple again. Dandannyboy gets it off of the first TNT. That's some nice RNG. That's going to save him a few seconds, and that could matter. It was only a 4-second game last game, and that's definitely 5-10 seconds right there. Just getting a little bit of explosion RNG, clipping a couple of gravel, flint drops.
Right.
Automat now has to route over, or no, he got the flint down at the bottom, but it's just a time loss. Thought I had to go to the river, but I'm just silly. 7 iron, so enough for pickaxe in bucket and flint steel, but no amazing food source that I've seen from looking at either of these players' overworlds. Could be a tactical fishing salmon angle, if possible. Could also be enter with your 1 gap and 11 flushing at lucky angle, but it looks like there's actually cows in this place for both players. Cow hole being used by both as well. W strat. I want to say Fyro is the one who thought of this, but I could be very wrong. The cows will path to water, but they are stupid and will not fall in the 1x1 because
Great. This is great. You love to see it.
I don't even know what the the underlying like bug is, but it's
Maybe it's
just
just that
got
they
to do
don't
with the
fully-
fact.
Yeah, they're just like barely. Are they just one block wide? So they just like don't.
Well,
can
like they
never-
will fit. They will fit in the hole.
Yeah.
And like
yeah.
when I'm doing arbalistic, they will like walk in the hole sometimes, as well. Like they will, if I dig a 2-block deep hole, they will walk into the hole.
Right. Okay. So
But-
it must have something to do with the water then. For some reason, they just get funky around pathing into water.
That it's like not that it like won't. Yeah, it's kind of a full block and they go down. I don't really know what it is. Could be the speed that they move as well when they're on fire.
True.
I don't know.
True.
It reminds me of Party Horse. When you look over and there's just a horse or other mobs occasionally just hitting mad 360s. That's what it kind of reminds me of. And I don't know if that's the same underlying bug or I'm not sure.
You never know. I mean, I think it's, maybe it's best left as a mystery because it is quite funny.
Think so?
Yeah.
Oh,
We have,
AutomattPL better train to the Bastion here. Looks like he went straight here and Dandannyboy took a right turn a little too early. So Automat being able to fall down into this housing. But look at this. Danny finds upper terrain. And this looks like a much more attractive start to this Bastion route as opposed to wet manhunt. Not ideal.
Yeah, it's not good stuff here for Automat, unfortunately. Meanwhile, Danny is enjoying this manhunt, top-down housing.
Yeah. It's got all the piglins all over him right now. It has to get them dropped down from the backups as well. But just a much better start to this Bastion route. And he's got the top chests already looted. Definitely the lead, I think, back in Danny's favor. But it all depends on how many pigs you get, how fast the trades happen, where you're getting the obsidian. But housing a very, very consistent route. Everyone's going to do basically the same thing.
Yeah, good stuff from both runners overall. I will say, it feels like Automat has definitely made up some time here. But the question is, does he have as many pigs? And is this route going to sort of net him as much stuff as he needs?
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and find out. But it definitely seems like Danny has a little bit of a lead here as we keep trading with the piglins.
I think a lot of this could come down to the quality of the top chests as well. I don't think it's great though, because Danny does only have 5 obsidian. Yeah. So I'm not entirely sure if there was just nothing up there and the obsidian is going to be in this middle chest here, or if there was just only 5 and he hasn't picked up any from trades. I'm not sure.
Right.
But 20 obsidian might be an issue for these runners. It looks like he has 9 obsidian, not even close to 20, whereas Danny has 10. So wow, definitely very interesting. I mean, home portal always an option if you have 10, and especially if you have exactly 10, forcing 20 is not going to be the move.
Right.
You are going to play for home portal, but it looks like Automat here trying to Pyre and fight for this 10th obsidian. Oh my god, and that might be it. The gold block that Danny gets from top housing might be exactly why. But also, I think if these players know how the filter works, they'll know that there should be obsidian in this single, and it looks like Automat's going to fiend for it.
Nice.
Dandannyboy fiends for it as well. 16 obsidian only, though.
Ooh, so
not
close.
enough. So, honestly, both runners at very similar pace now, because Danny did have to go back up here to try to check for 20. And they're both going to be leaving around the same spot at around the same time.
Yeah, but Automat is not going to necessarily know about the terrain that Danny knows about.
He is going back down. Yeah, maybe he's leaving from a different spot. I don't think he's going to force 20. He does only have 16. You have to get the double backups. And you're right. I don't think he knows about this top terrain that could be better. I mean, it is very open down here as well, but you could potentially need to throw more pearls, take a different route to the fort. Interesting.
Yeah,
and
looks like
Danny
he
is
leaving.
closing in on it at the fort as we speak.
A lot more indecisiveness here from Automat and how to get out. The question is, You know,
Yeah, I mean,
is
he
he
only
gonna
has
be able to find
one
terrain?
steak too, and Danny Boy has 6 again.
Oh wow.
The
Yeah.
food is just crazy. These pearls that he's whipping, and it looks like he's hung a pearl to home portal. I'd have to imagine Danny did the same thing. Maybe that's why Automat was so indecisive, because if
Right.
you're not leaving out there from the top, you don't know that your home portal's that close.
Right.
You have to, curve a little around. That actually makes a lot of sense now
Yeah, for sure.
as to why Automat was a little too indecisive there, and it might end up costing him the seed and the best of
Yeah.
3.
I'm starting to really favor Danny as we move forward, but I mean, just because someone has like a bit of a commanding lead does not mean that the seed is over by any means. There's always room for time save. There's always room for mistakes
100%.
from the leading runner, so we'll have to wait and find out. But so far, I am liking Danny's position a lot.
Yeah, I mean, already the spawner here. Rate's not amazing, but we have TNT from the temple. Both runners do have a pearl hung at home portal. Explosive count looks immaculate. 10 beds for basically both players. I'd like to imagine that Automat's in a similar situation. But it just, the food situation sticks out to me. Automat's going to have to unhang a pearl, so that's damage. Gonna have to pearl the cords, that's damage. Only has 8 flesh, and that's it. So gonna either see a hunger reset in the portal room, hunger reset going to cords, but we're most likely gonna see a hunger reset. I don't even know how much health 8 flesh would heal. Like if you're on 1 heart and 1 hunger bar down, and then you just start chugging rotten flesh, like would you get to 10? Is it even like a heart per flesh because of the hunger? I literally don't know. It's probably, who knows? Point is, terrible food source compared to the 6 steak in Danny's inventory.
Yeah. Danny doing a little bit of 0 prep here as he kills some blazes. Same with
Have time
Automat.
to kill, and you can't build a portal here. I mean, you could build a portal anywhere, but it would be stupid because you have a pearl hung at your home portal, and it looks like he's unhanging the pearl on 6 rods.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that.
Interesting play potentially. I'm not entirely sure if he can't count or is just banking on it not breaking. But he
Seems like
did.
such an unnecessary risk.
Yeah, just should have waited for 1 more rod. But it looks like he's full crafting, getting to 12 eyes. Not a big deal because you have a lot of pearls. But if this does break, I don't like this play at all. Danny just has to hope for no break, and that's going
lava?
towards the lava. Is he going to be able to save this? Trying to get the offset even.
All eyes on the eye.
Looks like we... Nice one, Nerdy. Did it go far enough?
I don't know. It
Forward.
looks like you're gonna throw 2 though.
Yeah, I mean, this first
Might fall
offset's
on the
not
cactus,
good.
too.
I have no idea, but I mean, needs this eye to be safe as well. This one is safe.
Is it?
Gets good offsets here. Yeah, it didn't break there. Popped off on the side.
lava though. 1.
Automat said, oh, he hunger reset. Oh my god.
No, he has 11. He needs a 1 eye.
Yeah, and I wonder if you just send it or not. And I mean, Automat has 14, has an extra rod, and he is somehow just ahead. I think, did Automat throw 2 eyes? I have no idea where this time save came through, but Danny just has to go and hope that he's going to be okay. There's nothing else you can really do. It's not towards the direction of the 4. You're going to lose so much time. Knowing Automat's right on your tail as well, you just have to play for the 72% that you're good. Automat digging down at cords already. Like, how fast this guy's at cords. Danny is there right away as well, though, but Automat just somehow feels like from nothing just pulled ahead on the seed. Again, Danny has a little bit of time save potentially, not having to hunger reset for the potential 0, but there is a 28% chance the seed is over entirely. Fire's Law Portal Room.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I
didn't see all 12. I didn't see all 12, but I didn't see one. I don't think there's an eye.
No eyes.
And there's not.
GG.
And Danny has to go back. Through an eye, went in the lava. Has to go back. Automatic gets to 0. Would it have even mattered? It would have been so unbelievably close again, Nerdy. both in the portal room at the same time. I think Danny has the 0 prep, so he would have whipped it. This would have been genuinely insanely close match again from both of these runners. And Automat starts with 0. Terrible damage on the first bed, but he should have 10. So I really don't think it's going to matter. And it just comes down to Danny taking too long to measure. Oh, he doesn't have. Still fine, though. Yeah, that's scary, though. If it doesn't die off that anchor, you really didn't have another backup there. But he's good.
We're going to a seed 3.
Yeah. Clean 6 explosive 0 as well. Even with the terrible first bed. And Danny loses off the eye break. Or the eye burn, I should say. But literally, I think without that, this seed is within 5 seconds again.
To be fair, though, he would need to get another. He would have needed to get another blaze. So, I mean, Automat got into the portal room 17 seconds faster with an extra rod.
No, I mean, like, if it was just a one eye, though. Like, Danny was in the portal room at the same time. Automat had finished the death reset. It would have been insanely close. Because Danny would have had that time save off the food. Yeah, just an incredibly close game, I guess. Danny just took so long measuring eyes. Had to throw 2 instead of 1, I think. Yeah.
And then I think Automat just had great terrain nav to the stronghold cords.
Yeah, just threw a couple better pearls that, I mean, it was very straight the whole time, both ways, but I think threw a couple better pearls that, like, had a block clutch maybe a little less or just better, like, surface terrain, and it was just there so quick, it felt like.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we can look at the seed selection thing. I think the last seed we're playing is Ruin Portal. 95% sure. Yes, it is. This could potentially be a very fast overworld, very fast seed. Love watching some of these Ruin Portal seeds. We've had some sub 8s. In the past. And I've been told that we are going to go to a very quick intermission to give the runners some time to get water and stuff like that before we get into our seed 3. So we will see you guys in a couple minutes to see who wins this best of 3. Dannyboy or Automat. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, gamers. We don't really even need to be on the screen. I think I'm ready to just throw it into the seed. I don't think we have anything much to say. The runners are ready. We're ready. See this seed 3. 2 seed 3s in a row, Nerdy. Some amazing content nearing the back half of our bracket. But, I mean, maybe it does make sense, you know? The 2 matches that have had the closest seeds between the runners, you know? The 8 and the 9 and the 7 and the 10. Definitely makes sense as to why these matches are potentially closer than the other ones that we've seen. But it's making for some good content. And I'm very excited to see if Dannyboy can clutch it out or if Automat can pull off the sweep, reverse sweep.
Well, what are you predicting? You gotta make a prediction. You can't just.
I have to make.
You have to. And I'm just gonna be a contrarian and disagree with you. So take that into account.
I predict that the runners are gonna tie and hold hands in the fountain. And now you have to choose who's gonna win. Because that's the opposite, Nerdy. You have to choose who's gonna win. Because I said tie. Yeah. And the opposite of tying is not tying, so there has to be a winner. But then who's the winner, Nerdy? So you get to choose. I got him.
Wait, is the opposite of tying not tying, or is the opposite of tying like not playing?
I think Dannyboy's gonna win. Okay.
Okay. I think Automat's gonna win.
We had to stop it before it got too deep, guys.
What is the opposite of 0? I don't know. That's like math doesn't even have an answer for that question, Feinberg.
1, bro. 0 cycle, 1 cycle.
Oh, right.
You know me. Looks like neither runner are going for a completion on this portal here. There's probably just crying in the way that I didn't see. But very similar pace from both runners. Automat maybe messed up the water there, but didn't like spread it anywhere, which is good. Very similar food as well. Dannyboy a little bit lower on the food. And honestly, I feel like we've seen this matter to some extent on a lot of seeds. Like, I think taking the time to increase the amount of food you have by like 1 or 2 smelted items might be so important. Just based on what we've seen happen in these seeds, you know, like Dandannyboy almost made the time back from the second portal just to not have to hunger reset in the portal room. And you need so much food in a run to be able to get through the entire run without hunger resetting at all. So it's very, very iffy. Weird thing to think about, because if you don't end up needing all that food, you did just lose time trying to get more food than you needed. But anyways, both these runners look like they're approaching a housing bastion, W bastion, but the block situation is weird for both runners. Are we burning our wood? Automat getting wooden shovel, soul soil, and then building with our wood. Dandannyboy farming up some nether rack, and this is always weird because ideally you almost want to have 0 blocks when you're once you get to the bastion, because you can use soul sand, you can use nether bricks that you craft, and things like that. But also this route, this weird manhunt does require you to build with some things, and I think Automat's going to panic in a little bit and build with some wood. But this basalt pillar in the middle of the bastion is actually clutching up, requiring a lot less blocks to be built than normal. Potentially a little weird with that piglin pathfinding over lava, so Danny's making a sort of a 2x1 bridge here for these piglins, but I think they'll be able to push through. Very, very weird situation in this bastion. How a basalt pillar cutting through.
Yeah, bizarre. But I will say, the seed is going by rather quickly. You know, I feel like both runners doing a good job here of staying on pace with one another, as we've seen with all the matches between these two. And I'm hoping that this continues on.
Both runners looking to Pyre, as there was really no good terrain to see the fort. And I think the only difference right now in these routes is that Automat did do some sort of mid-down variation, so he's a couple gold blocks up on Danny, but potentially a couple pigs down and down on the speed a little bit.
Sure. We've got solid pearls there for Automat, and so presumably similarly for Dandannyboy as well.
Looks like they're going to both have to go up to get 20 obsidian, though. Unless there's a lot down here that Automat hasn't checked. I'm not sure. Just saw 11 on his screen, and Danny's only got 12. So, gonna need to check the top chest, and then maybe see another home portal pearl hang seed, potentially. But we'll see. Golden Iron Axe coming out from Danny. Automat's gonna need to craft that eventually. Looks like he is right now. Search crafting there for the axe. English search crafting. Rare. But fast. Yeah, that's probably the only double English language match we'll probably see all tournament.
Yeah.
Which is nice when you're trying to read the subtitles. That's all I'd say.
Well, that is true. That is true. But I enjoy the variety of languages that are chosen for various reasons.
No, I think it's really cool that people, you know, pick what they're sort of comfortable with crafting wise, because there's really not one amazing language to search craft with. There's a lot of them that are very, very similar in how fast they are, how fast least amount of inputs you can craft a couple things. Automat having trouble in this double triple at the top though. Oh my god, they're both doing the same thing at the same time, just with different blocks, but the same exact way they're leaving this bastion. Not the way that they entered, but both runners spotting this big terrain, and they're doing the same dumb soul sand thing. And because it's ranked and you don't want to pause for your FOV, and look, oh my god, Automat finds a different spot in this fort. Like they're both, you tank the soul speed because it's all RTA. So you just kind of fucking deal with it. And they're both Quake Pro players, I think, are like at least 100. Like, this is crazy. Oh. Automat in a rough spot. One more. Has to box this guy out. A third guy coming as well.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. He's barely good. Has to be so precise on the middle of this soul sand because it's not a full block. These Wither Skellies, I am 99% sure, can hit him on that gravel.
Right.
And Dandannyboy is like, fuck this, man. I'm not playing any sort of 5RD. This dude's blaze betting a spawner. in this SSV. And you know what? I like the consistency play, but it could make him lose the seed and lose his chance in the playoffs.
Here.
You look at Automat,
Danny
he's just
had
chugging
a
through it, chugging
spawner
through
here,
the...
making it work.
And again, a food situation could be potentially punishing for Automat, as he's only got one pork chop left for the rest of the run and is now definitely going to have to hunger reset in the portal room. Hopefully not earlier. If he can dodge all this damage, I think he can save the hunger resetting to the portal room. If he doesn't dodge this damage, he's going to have to wait until, or hunger reset in the overworld, you know? But I think it looks like he's good. Some boner, divine travel, in a sense, oh my god, scuffed. He gets it off. But Danny, already measuring his eyes. Ahead here. And there's only so much seed left to play. Is he going to speed up the measuring? We saw Danny lose a lot of time on this in the last seed.
Gonna have to do 2
Could
as
say,
we can.
ooh, messing with the offsets, not amazing. So has to throw 2 eyes. And Automat's measuring his first one. So could be completely made up time again.
Is that what we're gonna see?
Looks like they have the same coordinates, but if you're looking at the numbers, all I see is that Danny has 3 digits and Automat has 4. So I think Danny blinded at a closer spot. You know, the spawner maybe was closer than where these strays are, but look, both runners doing random shit in the overworld. Automat getting food, Dandannyboy getting wood, making sure that they have the gear that they need to 0 and finish out the run. This is incredibly close. But Danny's got the pre-crafted beds and potentially a little bit extra food. But both these runners going to cords. Again, Danny a little bit closer on the cords as well. Might already be there. Automat needs 1 more pearl at least. Might be the last pearl for Danny. Getting to the cords here. Automat down as well, but he needs to be at this little like mix. Oh, and Danny throws a bad pearl and Automat's on the cords. It wasn't where Danny pearled originally. Automat building right now. Dandannyboy, I think 10 blocks off here right now. Needs to pre-bridge a little bit. Now Automat's going to I Spy first. And has the stake very, very close here. No pre-craft for Automat. That's the big difference here. He literally 5, 6, 7 seconds ahead, but doesn't have pre-craft at all. So Dandannyboy's going to be able to get into the portal room and instantly 0. Both of these runners looking for a spike. Nothing looks good from Automat. He got it right there. Bottom right. Danny, is this the bottom right path that he's running in right now?
I don't think so.
Both runners in the same. Both runners in the same 4-way. No, has to find a way to potentially curve it, and it is right there. And Automat finds it too. It's going to be this setup that's going to matter. Dandannyboy's going to be able to crank it. Automat can't. He's got time, at least 10 seconds right now. Maybe not 10. Maybe barely 10.
He might be able to go for the crossbow.
It's front.
If he knows how to do that.
This is it. 95. Can't choke the build. So much netherrack. 99. He's pushing. What? Balls on this man. And he gets there. Wow, that was unnecessary, but he got there. And with 8 beds, looks like the KB is good enough. Just has to keep the dragon up. And this is going to be a clean 6-bed 0. Wow. It's going to be over. I cannot believe Danny went to 99. That is incredible. And he makes it work. And that's the game.
But hey, look, Automat did so well too.
Yeah, I literally 15
15
seconds. Yeah, like it's and even in seed 2, if Danny, like I said, had the 1 eye, it would have been within 5 to 10 seconds again. Just basically these runners, I mean, so many small different micro decisions throughout all the seeds, but at the end of everything, they're in the end at the same time, 0ing at the same time.
Crazy stuff.
It's just
heartbreaking.
Look, I mean, look at this back and forth on the splits, like legitimately within 5 to 10 seconds, basically everywhere.
Yep. Great game, great match, and yeah, Danny, just barely won his 2 seeds that he won. He barely won, and he almost could have won the game that he lost as well if he got a 1 eye.